I knew I had two brothers and sisters from my mother. My oldest brother told me that I had other siblings.
Did you speak to any of them?
I didn't.
I really never were around my parents, or they was never really there.
I felt like I wasn't wanted by my mom or my dad.
Well, I went from home to home. It was bad.
And your mother had a substance abuse problem too?
And now, Judge Mathis reveals the results of yesterday's DNA test.
At the funeral, somebody pointed them out. How did you follow up? You all began to talk, and how did you feel about it being siblings? What is your take on that?
Well, I mean, at that time, when my father passed, I was a junior in high school. Mm-hmm. So the crazy thing is, when I was there, it was crazy because, like, on one side of the funeral, there's a group of people. Then, you know, the side I'm standing on is a group of us. So the only siblings I was used to is the ones, you know, I came up with before we all got separated. Okay. And one of my older siblings was the one that was like, do you see them over there? And me and my youngest sister was like, yeah. And she was like, that's y'all other brothers and sisters. I just was like, oh, I mean, I was a kid still, right. So.
Okay.
And all then right. After the funeral, my brother Charles, he was the one that walked up to me, he was like, I'm your brother. And I said, I know. I was like, you look just like my, you know, like dad.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And we was close. Like, we was close all the way until he got murdered.
Glad you all were close. All right, so I gotta say all that, and let me hurry up. And you folks ready for the results? And the good news is y'all siblings, so laugh and have some fun. Have a good day. I knew you were.
Thank you very much. Yo.
Yes.
I love you.
Bro, it's blood now.
Blood in, blood out.
I know that's right.
I love you, I always have, so it really wasn't matter.
I love you.
Plaintiff Edna Nichols says the defendant is her son, and she claims recently they got in an argument, and the defendant punched her 3 times in the face, and then put her in a chokehold. So she's suing for emotional distress, the cost of a car, and tires. Defendant DeMonte Plummer admits that he hit his mother and says he deeply regrets it, but he insists it was only after she attacked him, and he simply reacted in self-defense. He's countersuing because he claims his mother lied to him about his biological father.
Start with you.
Yes, sir. I normally would never, ever decide to come to do something like this, but to be honest, I feel like I am at the end of my rope with my son. I have been through a lot, and I had him at a young age, 16 years old, by way of a sexual assault. So I decided that day I committed to being his mother, and that we were going to learn love together, because I had no idea what it was in the environment that I grew up in.
What type of environment did you grow up?
I was in the foster system. I was molested for the better part of my childhood. And
for the better part, meaning multiple times?
By the same gentleman.
Well, let's hear the good news. What happened with you once you left foster care?
Yes, sir. I took all of that and I poured it into my education. I felt that was my way out of my environment and sports. So I went to school and I now have 4 degrees, and I'm on my way to my 5th one. Awesome. Thank you. And marriage and family therapy. So I live for the youth. I live for those who are like me, and I live for my son. So I'm here for your help because we had got into a real altercation.
Let's start from earlier years. When did he first start rebelling?
He was a well-mannered student. I always got good compliments, so it surprised me maybe like a little after he had his child, which I can understand.
How old was he?
He conceived at 16, I believe, and had
so up until age 16, he was fine?
Yeah, he was.
And then what happened? What did you start seeing?
He wanted to, be grown. They all want to be grown, and, you can't be told anything. So I started noticing, him talking back and some of the language that he was using in me. And I was like, yo, we respect elders.
He told you, I want to be grown to
Oh,
your face?
yeah, during conversations. Oh, I'm grown.
So did you tell him to go ahead and be grown?
Yeah, out of my house.
Right.
Right, so I kicked him out.
There you go.
And then while we was talking about responsibility and things like that, one day I told him I did not like his demeanor and how he was coming to me. I asked him to get out of my house. And
How old was he then?
He was 21.
So what happened from 17 to 21?
I took care of his daughter. He had a baby, and I took care of him and his daughter. I spent a large amount of money making
About
sure.
the attitudes and all that, the arguments, that's what
We didn't really argue like that,
So
Your
from
Honor.
17 to 21, there was no problem
No,
with you.
well, the unusefulness of my money in my pocket started becoming an issue.
And that's you.
Because you
did
wasn't being
that.
responsible.
You did that. Go ahead.
Yes. So I did. I catered, and I spoiled him. And then I had to turn around and show that tough love. And when I did, he turned around and hit me with a 3-piece before I even
With a
realized.
what?
He hit me 3 times.
Objection, Your Honor.
Now, I want to be grown, and, you can't be told anything. So I started noticing, him talking back and some of the language that he was using in me. And I was like, yo, we respect elders.
He told you, I want to be grown?
Oh, yeah, during conversations. Oh, I'm grown.
So did you tell him to go ahead and be grown?
Yeah, out of my house.
Right.
Defendant DeMonte Plummer is being sued by his mother, who claims DeMonte punched her in the face 3 times and put her in a chokehold.
You didn't hit her?
I did not hit her 3 times. I do admit to hitting her, but it was not just because of out of nowhere. Me and my mother did get into an altercation, and it was over me and my roommate at the time, which I did not want to talk about the situation. And so since I did not want to talk about the situation, my mother then got aggravated and told me to get out of her house. Mm-hmm. When I walked up, I walked away from her to the opposite way so I could leave her house. That way I did not go in front of her to avoid confrontation. My mother then came to me and pushed me in my back. I turned around and pushed her.
Objection, Your Honor.
I didn't finish.
She then open palm smacked me, which then I did hit her out of reaction. And afterwards, she then came...
With a closed fist?
Yes, sir. And I do regret it.
It's the only time you and your mom had a physical altercation?
This was the only time me and my mother have gotten into an altercation.
What did you want to tell me?
Your Honor, he turned around. I walked behind him because I was asking for the keys to the vehicle that I've been paying for. And you want to be disrespectful. So you left. You turned around and you hit me 3 times. I had to tell myself in the process, you were in the middle of a fight. Not to mention his daughter was sitting on the couch.
Let me understand what you're saying. You were walking behind him and all you were doing was asking for your keys.
Yes, I said, give me my
keys, son. Give me my keys.
Yes.
And he turned around and hit you 3 times.
Yes.
He hit you in the face 3 times?
He hit me in my face, and then
3
he put me in a
times?
Yes, sir. And then he put me in a chokehold. And then I was sitting there, and I had to use my elbow to get him off of me. Not to mention, we ran around.
So you never touched him?
Yeah, I touched him.
No, I'm saying.
No, first, absolutely not. And not only
Objection.
that,
You
Your
called
Honor.
the police?
Yes. Well, I know.
happened?
My neighbor called the police because he was outside choking
You filed
me.
a complaint?
Objection.
Hold on, sir.
Sorry,
Did you
sir.
file a complaint?
I couldn't do it
Why not?
because I knew he was going to go to jail. He
Okay,
tried
let's
to kill
move on.
me.
Let's move on. I don't know who to believe, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Because he doesn't give me the impression that he's that type of young man. He seems very level-headed. He doesn't seem prone to violence. You wanted me to help him, so let me find out what he's doing. What you doing with your life?
So right now, I am currently working as a maintenance man. I take care of my daughter. I get my daughter on certain days. I communicate with her mother. So I don't need any extra help.
And what skill, permanent skill and transferable skill, I like to refer to it, do you have?
Yes, I have constructional work under my belt as well. I know how to change garbage disposals. I know how to change toilets. I know how to do anything that has to
Why
do with
don't you get some
hardware.
paperwork behind you then? Because the person who has paperwork and can do the same thing, they're going to get the job over you. Jobs are based on competition. People think when they don't have jobs, it's because somebody don't like, sometimes they don't like you. But a lot of people think it's a bunch of different things other than competition. And so the person who is best prepared is going to get that job. And preparation means you have earned or gained the skill level by applying yourself beyond high school in most instances. Even if you have experience, okay, another person who has experience and you have experience, well, how do you decide from there? Let me see who got the paperwork.
Yes,
That
sir.
shows me a little more discipline. That shows you they're going to come in on time and they're going to do better because they are committed, because you can't earn paperwork unless you're committed and you are disciplined.
Yes, sir.
So, and he sounds like he's committed, ma'am. I know Con when I see it, and I don't get that from him. So, where you going to go and get some type of paperwork at night? You can go to community college at night. Most community colleges now offer some sort of skill that can be applicable. In fact, they offer the things that apply to mechanical skills, perhaps even the type of things you already do. You can go and get some paperwork for it. So all those things take into consideration, and you're going to be back in touch with me how soon? How soon you going to be back in touch? 6 months? And let me know the status. Let me know what you're doing. That's enough time to make a move.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
And so I think that's going to go a little ways, because he's going to check back with me. And in 6 months, and he hasn't kept his word, it's going to be a different conversation.
Thank you.
Agreed.
It's going to be a little tougher.
I kept him
Now I'm
home.
going to challenge his manhood a little bit.
I hope so.
I might even call him a name or two. About men who claim to be men, but they're not, as it relates to life's responsibilities.
Yes, sir.
And, and that's what I do. When I go to jails, when I go and talk, when I go and speak to street youth, when I go and speak to any youth, when I go and speak to jails, I don't talk to them sweet.
Right.
Because they ain't hearing that.
Right.
I have to talk to them tough. I have to challenge their manhood.
Yes, sir.
I have to say, if you're a real man, bop, 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 bop. Well, you're not a real man, bop, 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 bop. And open their minds and bust them upside their head.
Right.
Figuratively.
Speaking.
Open their minds. All right.
My mother then came to me and pushed me in my back. I turned around and pushed her.
Objection, Your Honor.
She then open palm smacked me, which then I did hit her out of reaction. And afterwards, she then came
with a closed fist.
Defendant DeMonte Plummer is being sued by his mother, who claims DeMonte punched her in the face 3 times and put her in a chokehold.
So he's going to be all right now.
Absolutely.
You're going to be all right if you prove this case. What happened with the car, the tires, and emotional distress? Well, I heard about the incident. Don't know who to believe. So let's get to the tires and the car.
Well, I absolutely do have a text message to let you know that he did say you was the one who got your A beat the first time.
Uh-oh, let's see that. What page?
Number 5, sir.
Page 5. He rubbed it in your face.
Yeah, he did.
All right, whatever happened, sir, you rubbing it in her face certainly invoked emotional distress. Even if I don't know who to believe about who started it, I'm sure your mother, after being hit by her son,
yes, sir,
which you admit to,
yes, sir,
and then the son tells her at a later time, that's why I like you to try to take my life. Try to report my gun when it's not even registered. Learn the laws before you bark. Last time you check, you got your A beat. Not me want to go round 2. This time you threatened my life. She should do all that, sir. You get in confrontations with your mother like that. You got to take whatever your mother puts down on you, sir. You just got to take it. Unless it's physical abuse. Then you go to the police. So, just trying to give you and other young people viewing, you gotta take it. You gotta take it. Your mother cuss you out all the time. You know that. You ain't doing right. Everybody getting cussed out. All right, or told off. True. Christian women are telling you off. Well, some of them curse too. All right, I'll talk this Christian stuff myself. I curse like a sailor when I get off this bench. Go ahead, ma'am. Tell me about the car.
Despite that, I still took money out of my account to get him a vehicle to set him up with more success. He told me that once he received the settlement from the insurance that he had wrecked the other car I'm still paying for, he would give me the money back. And I set his car up to I put tires on it. I got alternator. I got it set up all the way. And he got the buddy, and we had an argument right before that because he made a silly decision. And I was like, that's silly, son. And he was like, you this and that. And that's when he started sending me with that text message and this and that. And I was like, oh, no, you're going to give me my money back. And he won't let me see my granddaughter right now.
Hear from you, sir. On this.
Alrighty, so with the car situation, if you read on what I have here on page 2, prior to this, I got a call from my mother asking me how my day was, and I started telling her what was going on with my day and what I'm going to do. I then asked her, could she watch my daughter for me, because I'm about to move into a hotel. In that moment, she started using all type of colorful words, and so I just hung up on her. Right after that.
Colorful words, she should send me my money.
Right?
Go ahead.
Go do a hotel.
She did say she wasn't going to watch. I'm
Yes.
not watching her.
Yes.
All right.
And she
go
said
ahead.
to send me her money, that I'm a follower. And then after that, on page 3, I said I'd like to see you try when I've already talked with my baby mother, because
It was time to block her, son, after she talked crazy, and then give her a break for a minute. Because, yeah, this is abusive language sometimes I think you engage in based on what I'm seeing, ma'am. So, yeah, I'm not sure how children should handle abusive language. And I guess cussing out is abusive language. I don't know. I'm confused. I'll be the first to tell you. If your mama cuss you out, is that wrong? Right.
Well, when you gonna go spend money at a hotel, Your Honor, and you owe me all this money?
I know,
like, what?
but you like you
That-
say, you talking
But that's the
crazy,
thing,
yeah.
Your Honor. I was going to pay her back with the settlement money, but she took the car back from me, which left me carless, and so I had to figure out a way to make sure I can even drive and make sure my daughter gets to places and so forth.
And he tries to get out of it. He even says, you do what I'm suggesting you do now. He's getting off the phone in the best way he could without returning abusive language to his parent. I think he's a very respectable young man. I think you did a very good job with
you.
him.
Thank you.
Once again, I respect you, young man. You and your mother went through a lot together.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I admire you all overcoming those circumstances. On the other hand, what's your emotional distress for, sir?
So everything was fine with me and my mother until I was 14 years old. And at that time, she told me that my biological father was not my father. From that moment, I did not trust anyone. I did not believe anyone. At one moment, I honestly thought that my mother wasn't even my mother. Solely for the simple fact, I didn't know who to trust anymore. But I love my mother. I would never hold anything over against her. I want to see her do great. But
You left that part out, ma'am.
This is the first time I've heard this.
About 14,
Yes.
things turning.
Yes.
You didn't disclose some information he never knew of relative to his father?
At 13, we did, yes.
Okay, 13, 14.
His father
That's why he
did.
flipped on you, ma'am.
Well, I absolutely do have a text message to let you know that he did say you was the one who got your A beat the first time.
Uh-oh, let's see that. What page?
Number 5, sir.
Page 5. He rubbed it in your face.
Yeah, he did.
Defendant DeMonte Plummer is being sued by his mother, who claims DeMonte punched her in the face 3 times and put her in a chokehold.
You talked about he flipped at some point. He was that's why he's flipped. He told you that. I believe it. I would have flipped on you too. Go ahead. And that's your emotional distress, but that's from years ago. I'll let you finish, however.
yes, so ever since then, I started noticing my mother started treating me differently. And I always thought that the way how I grew up with her was how things were supposed to be between mother and son. Now, mind you, of course, parents, when they get mad at their kids, the yelling and stuff like that is acceptable. But constantly being in my face and threatening to do stuff to me and stuff like that, eventually I got tired of it. And when I turned 18 years old, that was when I put a stop to it, because I literally started talking back and started expressing how I felt about how you were treating me.
You were grown, but you should have moved before you started talking back.
This is true.
All right.
Which,
Your Honor, I
also
asked
at
him
the
to-
time, my mother gave me an ultimatum when I was living at her house. She told me either I'm going to stay here in the house and go to the military.
No, go to school.
No,
He even went to school and was lying.
ahead, or what?
And go to the military or move out. And so I moved out, and that was when I got my apartment with my roommate in that incident before we got into an altercation.
All right, let's just cut through. I'm not giving you any emotional distress because your mother fusses at you, or you were a little traumatized, but that was so long ago. But yeah, I can understand you being traumatized when that was disclosed to you. I'm gonna grant your judgment minus 1,000, so I'm not giving you any emotional distress either. $23.38 for the car and the tires is your judgment, and you'll check back with me, or we'll be calling you if we don't hear from you in 6 months. We got your number. You do know that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We got your address too, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good.
Where you live?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Oh yeah, I got goons there. Yeah. Yeah, I got goons in Indianapolis. All right, judgment for the
Thank you,
plaintiff.
sir. I appreciate you. I love you, and you know that. And I don't even understand, and you know that well. But I didn't. I tried my best to tell you how you were supposed to. That was something else that I was also dealing with, which I don't think you understand, which is why I wanted you to go to counseling well before this.
I can't do my therapy with you when you are my problem.
I don't want you to do therapy with me. I want you to go to a therapist. I want you to go to a counselor. I want you to talk to somebody. I've always said that. I said, if you can't talk to me, you go talk to somebody.
Right, and I do talk to people.
Well, good. Well, don't go talk to a professional, not your best friend. I want you to know that I love you, regardless of what happens.
And I love you regardless of what happens.
Plaintiff Veda Elam dated the defendant, but after she moved in with him, she claims he started disappearing for days and weeks at a time. And she soon discovered he was cheating with multiple women. Veda's suing her ex for a loan. Defendant Valdez Washington insists Veda initiated their relationship, and he admits he took extended trips while living with her, but says it was only because living with Veda and her children during the pandemic was overwhelming.
Let's start with you. Get some background.
Okay, I got back in contact with Valdez back in 2019. I was looking for someone to do some concrete work for me because I own property. And he was from the area. We grew up together, so I thought it was befitting for him to do the job. He looked at it. It didn't work out, but then we started to date. And soon after that, Corona came around, and he moved me and my children into his home. Everything was going good. We was dating, living together. I'm thinking he's going to be my husband, and we're going to have a business. Boom. And then shortly after that, I started noticing he liked to disappear. You know, he'd have his conversations, walk away, and he started taking long trips by himself. So on these
Overnight?
trips, for several weeks or days at a time.
What would he say when he come back?
He just needed some time away.
That's a good one. He grinning over there. The old disappeared act, huh? I just need some time away. All right.
Yeah.
If I say that, my wife is calling the crack house, and I ain't never been known to be on crack in my life, but she know that move. Maybe I just need some time away. Y'all call every crack house down there in Detroit and see if my husband, hey, is my husband in there? Is he this? Mr. Mathis, why do you think? Because that's a crackish move.
Defendant Valdez Washington is being sued by his ex-girlfriend, who claims after they moved in together, she discovered Valdez was cheating on her with multiple women.
He would come back and say he needed some time away. How many times did he do that over the course of, say, a month?
He might be gone for like 5 days in a month, or it might be 3 days in a month, but he would come back. And I got this phone call. I thought it was his name popped up, and I thought it was him. And I said, "Hey, babe," and it was a woman. She's like, "It's not your babe."
Okay, well then it wasn't crack. It was a woman. Sometimes they can be worse than crack, depending on how much she got you hooked. Go ahead. So a woman called.
So yeah, it was a woman on the phone, and she was like, "I'm his ex, and I'm sleeping with Valdez. I know you're sleeping with him, but you're not alone. It's somebody else." So we began to talk, and she three-wayed the other woman down south that he be going south. He goes down south. So she was like, "It's somebody else. I'm a three-way us." So all three of us was on the phone, and I called Valdez so he could hear the conversation. So she was like, "We're not going to stop messing with him, so we might as well just be sister wives." And I was just too done after that. Yeah, that was craziest thing.
What
ever.
part of down south is that? Are you talking about south side Chicago or the south part of the country? South a part of Illinois? South of what?
It was down in the country, in the Mississippi.
A different state? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
different state.
And they called you and said, "We might as well be sister wives. Is that not going to change?"
Exactly. So
What'd you tell them?
And then I was just outdone. I just wanted to hear what she had to say, and she was going to spill some tea or something like that. But I couldn't believe it. And then so we still began to date, and he apologized. But then like the next week we was together, and I spent all day with him. And then the next day I went over to his house, and he stopped answering the phone. And I noticed it was a woman. I could see it through the window. It was another woman sitting on the couch. Jeez. And she had my throw blanket on, and she was drinking my cold waters. And I'm up here like, "Dang, I was just with you yesterday. Like, what's going on?" And so it was a lot dealing with.
Now give me the time frames. When did the women call you? What month and year did the women call you? Say we sister wives.
So this happened, let me see, Corona hit in 20. This happened then maybe about June of 2020. In July and August, Mr. Washington likes the ladies. He definitely likes his ladies a lot.
Doesn't look like he can afford it if he owes you money.
That's true.
Go ahead.
So after that happened, we broke up, but we remained friends. He taught me a valuable lesson on men and relationships. So
when did you break up and why?
We broke up maybe I would say in later part of that year around August, September, because I had loaned him some money to buy a dump truck for the business. I gave him a loan for $4,000.
Okay, let me allow him to catch up with a little background on this. So go ahead, sir. You give me some background here.
We actually went to grammar school together, and met her. I ran into her in about 2019, and her boyfriend and her was together. And she wanted to have some concrete work done. Fortunately, we never got together to have this concrete work done. And maybe about 2020, she reached back out to me to do another job. And when she called this time, it wasn't about a job. She actually, when I arrived to her home, she had cocktails laid out and everything.
You can't help it.
Say you can't help yourself. I mean, what you expect? Go ahead. You can't help. It's hard being you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it was. She initiated this. Yeah. So one thing led to another. We was having cocktails. We never got a chance to discuss any work.
See, you just went to work.
Yeah.
You didn't discuss work. You just went to
work. So, as time had went on, her children had moved in. COVID had kicked in, so we was all living in my house. It was overwhelming for me. It was a lot of pressure. So I did take these trips. I did get away to have time for me. I had started something that I wasn't ready for.
I want to hear about all these women, these sister wives you got. And the women just calling you on false pretenses. And when you get there, the house is laid out with champagne, candles, and cocktails. And I want to hear about that. What you have so special, what the other ones do. Go ahead.
I plead the fifth.
All right, my man. But no, giving him a little support on his lie. about why he was going down south or leaving, he makes a good point that people weren't ready. The husband and wives of many, many decades or years weren't ready to spend 24/7 together as a result of COVID. If you have children on top of that and you all hadn't been together very long, yeah, I'm sure it was kind of overwhelming. It was overwhelming for a lot of people who've been married for years.
Defendant Valdez Washington is being sued by his ex-girlfriend, who claims after they moved in together, she discovered Valdez was cheating on her with multiple women.
So I'm gonna back him up on that. Now tell me about the loan.
Well, Judge, I have some documents right here. This happened March of 2020. We was going to the store. We was driving down the street, and he was like, "Hey, there's a dump truck. You know, I like to get it. It's a good price. I need that for the business." And I was being a supportive girlfriend. I was like, "Sure, I'll loan you the money." He was like, "I'll pay you back." So
March 20th. Okay. You loaned him
March
how much
20th.
In March? The total amount?
$4,000. Yes.
Okay. And what happened from there?
He got the truck and he was doing other business. So I was like his personal assistant during this time. So I'm seeing him making money. I'm seeing the money coming in, but he never paid me my money back. He was like, "I got you, V, I got you." End up, he didn't get me. You know, he dumped me, but I still need my money for my dump truck.
Were you all in the same household together when he was owing the monies to you?
We were.
And
yes,
you all intended to be together? How long did you intend to stay with?
I mean, in my mind, to me, this was going to be my husband. We was going to spend the rest of our lives together. We were V squared. So.
Well, that's why he wasn't repaying you.
Well, I mean, he said that he was going to pay me.
You going to repay your husband?
Well, if he said he was going to pay me back
your husband.
He wasn't my husband yet.
No, but you intended him to be. You intended that's what you projected. Did you intend to move out soon? Did you intend to move out soon?
No, we could have moved to another house.
That's my point. You intended to be with him, and so if I'm him, I say, what is the hurry? Number one, we're going to be together forever. We're going to get married. We're going to make money together for the household. So what is the hurry for you getting your money back? Are you about to leave? Are you about to go down south? Were you trying to go down south too? You're the only one that can go down south. Give him some brother husbands, or what you call, give him some brother husbands. Yeah, you go. She wanted her money to go down south. I was trying to figure out why she had to have it so soon if you intended to spend the rest of your life with him. But now I know you wanted to go down south. All right. Now that we're past that, sir. When was the agreement to repay? When was he to repay you all of it? Was there a projected date?
It was like 6 months, around September. So around September, he was supposed to pay me my money back.
You anything?
But I haven't received anything on it.
All right, and what have the conversations been? Have you asked? And what have the responses been whenever you ask for your money? I got you, baby. I'm going to get it to you.
Numerous conversations. Sometimes he doesn't say anything, or he'll be like, V, I got you, or V, I don't have any money, but I'm seeing you making money and spending money, and I'm like, man, I can't get my money back.
But was he spending some on you and your children?
He did.
So that's where a lot of the money went. Not that that offsets anything, but I'm just trying to be fair and make some points that indicate that he might be a womanizer if what you say happened, but that doesn't make him an irresponsible person who doesn't pay his debts with his significant other. That's what I'm getting to.
Defendant Valdez Washington is being sued by his ex-girlfriend, who claims after they moved in together, she discovered Valdez was cheating on her with multiple women.
What do you say to this, sir?
Well, Your Honor, I honestly believe that everything should be a wash, that I was paying all the bills, supplying the food.
Don't take my argument. See, you can't help a person. You got to have me say the wrong thing. You can't help her.
I just felt it should have been a wash.
Can't be helped. Go ahead. Yes, sir. What now? You gonna use my defense? I'm trying.
That was not part of the agreement.
Right. Go ahead, sir. But you're appealing to the sense of fairness.
And I think that would have been fair.
Was she contributing to the household at all?
Yes, she did.
Well, you all mutually contributed. And if you both intended to spend your lives together, I don't know why you did alone anyway. I don't know why y'all did alone. You must not have felt the same way. Because if you all were so convinced that you all are moving together, we intend to stay together for the rest of our lives and hopefully marry and all these things, then that's not necessarily what you do. However, if you say, well, this might not work out, then yes, perhaps you do commit to a loan, but in the meantime, you all contribute to the household that you have there. And that's what it sounds like the both of you did outside of the $4,000 in which you agreed to repay. Now that's different. You didn't agree to repay her for the loaf of bread she brought. She didn't agree to repay you for the carton of milk. You didn't agree to pay her for the money she might have spent on a utility or so. And she didn't agree to repay you for the rent. So those are totally separate from this loan, which she was smart enough to know that pie in the sky love doesn't always work out. So when you're making a significant financial investment, you need to protect yourself. That's why people get prenups. Yeah, I want to marry you. I love you to death. But just in case you decide to go down south, we need some type of agreement. Do a prenup that says, specifically have a clause in there that says, in case she goes down south. We're going to make that part of the prenup. So there you have it. You have any defense today to paying her money? No defense?
I do not, sir.
All right. Good guy. I told you he's a good guy. Why don't you get back with him?
Yeah.
We don't know what the future holds.
There you go. How about you? You know, it's a possibility, right?
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready for all that, Judge.
All right, but it's possible. Oh, man, it's possible, right?
I don't know, Judge.
Come on, man. Why you want? You been lying. Don't get on my show and lie and hurt the woman's feelings on my show. It is possible, isn't it? Is there a possibility?
I don't know, Judge.
He loves
Now all of a sudden you're a saint. You've been lying to all these women for decades. Now you get on here and make me look bad and make her look bad. He'll probably owe you more than $4, doesn't he? Let's amend this. Let's amend this. I'm gonna give you some more money since you want to get cute. Go ahead. The $4,000 is your judgment. Have a good day. Take care.
Thanks. It's a shame that we couldn't be together and work things out, but he's still a good guy. He's still a friend of mine.
I'm pleased with the decision of the judge. I'm glad I was able to get this behind me. I know to make better decisions going forward with my life.